Well, I'd like to thank you for joining this webinar hosted by Officeworks Software. And we're going to be focusing specifically on the OrgChart for Visio application and a number of other types of tools that can help you with your human resource deliverables. My name is Joe Collinger, and I am pleased to be doing this presentation with you. These tools are something that our company has made over the past several years, and they're finding a very enthusiastic reception among human resource professionals all over the world. So this is the time we're going to take to let you have a closer look, and sincerely we hope that you will see this as a new way for developing organization charts and your human resource deliverables. And just a little more background on our company. Officeworks Software is dedicated to providing solutions that help organizations better manage their employees. And our organization charting products are the best of class and designed to bring organizational insight, whether that's charting, whether that's organizational visualization, whether that's planning, including succession planning, talent management, organizational design. All of these are things that our products support. Our company was founded in 2005. We have over 7,000 clients, and we're in 18 countries around the world. And as you can see, there's a host of companies that are perhaps the internationally recognized that are our clients. So I'm going to proceed, and we'll get into the overview for topics here in just one moment.
All right. So the org chart for Visio is one of the first applications I'm going to give you a walkthrough on. And let me just say that I'm going to give you some guidelines on how to do this job more easily using some of the tools that are out in the market. Now, you already know, many of you, that we have two applications. One is the OrgChart standalone product, which we call OrgChart Professional, OrgChart Platinum. We also have another product line, which is OrgChart for Visio, which we have with the developers of Visio. Those are a number of the individuals who work with our company. We have developed a plug-in that takes the capabilities of Visio 2013, Visio 2010, and it extends them so that those who are using Visio or those who are doing these HR deliverables can do even more. So we're taking you beyond what the in-the-box capabilities are. But let me keep going. Okay, so let me walk you through, first of all, Visio 2013. Some of the things that you're going to see here is that we have, unlike the in-the-box product for Visio, we have a continuous data connection. It is a possibility for you in the current Visio product to import data. However, once you import the data, the program completely forgets what was imported, and so any changes that need to be made, any adds, changes, deletes, so forth for individuals, you're going to really have to re-import practically. But with this application, you remain continuously connected. So the idea is that you can create your chart one time, and then you can perpetually reuse it. So all of the overhead involved in creating a chart is one thing, but then ongoing, as your organization changes and you do reorgs and so forth, all you need to do is just update your source data, refresh, and then continue. And so the return on investment for the amount of time that this saves is really tremendous. Data debugging, this is another interesting thing. So when we get into these automated tools for charting and for these HR deliverables, they all presume that you have good, clean data. And many of you are taking your data from places like ADP, Oracle HR, PeopleSoft, SAP, and so forth. Many of the extracts that are being used have different kinds of problems with that data, and if you don't get clean data to begin with, you're not going to get good visuals. So our software applications have data debugging facilities. So in the case of duplicate records, orphans, or cases of circular reference, that is, a confusion in one person reporting to another, reporting to the same person, And so detecting those things is really tough if you don't have the right tools for it. And then any time that refreshes are done to the chart, an audit trail is provided so you can know exactly what happened. The great thing then is that whatever the condition of your data, these applications that we have facilities in them that are going to help you clean up your data so that you can get the result that you need really quickly. Another benefit is that regardless of how large your data set is, you can pick any starting point for the organization. So you can decide, for example, if you have 500 people in your company, you don't have to create the entire chart. You could if you wanted to, but you don't have to. You can pick any starting point within the organization and then drill down to any depth. Again, the inbox products for Visio and many of the tools that are available on the market do not have these capabilities. And so we're going to show you how you can have that, and we're going to also further cover some of the differences between the current Visio and the extension we're giving. And then the other thing is when we get into Visio, many of you who have already worked with Visio realize that there's many shapes that you can use. We have one intelligent shape. The inbox product for organizational charting has 9 different shapes, and you pick one based on what it is that you're trying to represent, whether that person's a consultant, a regular team member, a manager, a vacancy. But in our case, you work with one data shape, and you simply feed it a value from your data. And so it makes it very easy for you to get the results you want or communicate the nature of the staffing that you have, even as it changes. Photo import, so if you want to add photographs, the current inbox product is finally they're allowing you to import photos, but there's a very strict naming convention that is required or it will not recognize a photo. Our application has expanded it so that you can import any particular naming convention you like. And in the case of dotted line reporting, for instances where you have individuals that report to more than one manager, we give you the ability now to have people to reporting up to 3 additional managers. So the first one would be solid line. The additional ones would be dotted line. And then the other thing I'm going to show you is location integration. So this is a case where we can take a floor map of a given office or a suite of buildings, and we can take the organizational data and map it according to offices, and then color code those offices according to people's departments, what level they're at, what work group they're part of. So there's some very nice things there. There's one thing I didn't put on this. We're going to show you some talent mapping that we're also in the process of releasing, which can be very helpful. So 4 things I'm going to cover today. A new way to create your HR deliverables, okay? And some of the things I'm going to cover would be organization charts, talent maps, space planning, and custom reports. And we'll go through these. First of all, let's start with perhaps what is one of the easier ones here, which is going to be the organization chart. So here's what we're looking at in terms of the Visio inbox product. These are very beautiful designs that they have come up with now, and some of these styles can change. But one of the things you are going to be dealing with is, regardless of how much data that you bring in, it's going to tend to put these on multiple pages, and the limitations that you are going to have are pretty significant as to how you can lay these things out so that they will tidy up onto individual pages of a desired size. Also, if you'll look at these boxes, they are pretty big. You can have a photo on them, but all boxes are going to have the same layout. So you can't have some boxes showing a photo and others not, or showing other critical information such as head count or grade. You have to. It's one size fits all, and there's really no other customization that's allowed. The other thing I want to direct your attention to is at the bottom of the screen we can see page 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. And each one of these represent different levels of the organization chart. So as we go through these pages, each one of them refers to a particular manager. Now, it is nice that they are hyperlinked, so I can control-click on Stephanie Hopper here, and it will take me to her page in her specific box on the next page up. But the problem is that the way these are labeled, you're not going to know what managers these refer to. So in the inbox product, these are tabs that you can rename, but then you have to establish linking, and it's a lot of work and a lot of fuss to do that. So we solved that problem also. But I wanted you to at least see what it is that you're looking at with the 2013 product. Okay, I also want to show you what a finished product looks like. I'm going to direct your attention now to OrgChart for Visio. If you look at this, here we are in Visio 2013, and there's a tab here that says OrgChart. That is the OrgChart for Visio functionality. And it comes to us as a tab with all the workflow on it. So you can pretty much do everything for OrgChart you need to off of this one tab. And along with this one tab, you get, on the left-hand side here, there's 3 shapes that are part of the package. One deals with the person or the position, another for a dynamic connector. So if you have to establish any just ad hoc relationships between people. And then the other would be a team frame, which gives you the ability to sort of color a group of people. Okay. The other thing we can see at the top here is that there's a workflow that goes from left to right, where we first import the data, configure, and then we kick off the development of the chart, picking any starting point. And then there's other formatting options as we proceed to the right. And you'll also notice that there's a big deal here that's been accomplished, and that is there is a refresh capability. The button is right here, and that is something the inbox product absolutely does not have. And so with this, anytime the external data changes, we can import, we can create this chart and refresh it. Now, if I'm giving you an example to look at a chart that has boxes that are configured differently. So some of these people we're looking at, we have some of their section data, their title, and an area of responsibility. And we've got another one here that includes both direct reports and subordinates. If I could control-click on this, it can take me to that particular person's group. And if you'll notice also at the bottom, instead of pages being labeled as page 1, 2, and so forth, we have the names of the managers here. And we can replace those with department names or things like that as you wish. But also as we're looking at one of these, just an area of the chart here, you can also see that we've developed a skills mapping. Okay? So we've defined skills such as communication, budget, public speaking, and writing. And based on data that's associated with each person here, we've developed a little color coding, these little icons that show up. These are called data graphics. And data graphics can be turned on, they can be turned off. But the nice thing is it provides a quick visual to give you an indication of the talent that's in the organization. So I'll just let you look at that for a moment. The other thing is we're proceeding through the presentation. I'm going to open it up at the end to questions. If any of you have them, you can shoot them to me in your control panel for GoToWebinar here. But we'll also have some time at the end for other things that you might like to ask. As I'm continuing through here, next we want to take a look at how we create a chart like this. So the way we do it is first we'll go to the new section here, and we'll go to categories. And here is a folder here for the OrgChart for Visio application. Remember, it is an add-on. It is a plug-in. As I double-click on this, we can see here it is, the starting point. So we'll double-click on this. And I get a blank page, and I can see the stencil, the document stencil on the left-hand side. So the way this works is I'm going to go through 3 iterations where I'm going to show you how we're going to import some data. Now, the first thing is I'll introduce you to the data. Okay, this is very simple here. anytime we're going to build an organization chart from the data, we need two columns of data. We need something that identifies the individual and something that identifies who it is they report to. Okay, that could be an employee number, it could be a position ID, it could even be an email address. So, but the idea is that we need the identifier for the individual, and then we need an identifier for who it is they report to. And everybody reports to someone except the person at the top. So here we have employee number, the reports to employee number. If I wanted to, instead we could use employee name, reports to primary manager. And apart from that, any other information you'd like to have, such as title, in this case position. This is interesting because we can feed a value to the OrgChart for Visio object that will turn it a different style based on whether we specify it as an executive, manager, position, consultant, vacancy, or as an assistant. The other thing we can do is we can designate whether a person is showing up as an assistant or as a team member. And if you'll notice how in organization charts, you'll see assistants hang to the right of a manager, whereas team members show up below. So just by toggling this to a yes, that piece of information can be used then to do our import and turn that person into an assistant. As I proceed to the right, I can see that we have dotted line managers. So all we have to do is specify if someone has a dotted line manager in addition to their primary manager. Proceeding to the right, I can see other information, such as location and the building they're in and the office. And I've also got a telephone number. Finally, I put some other characteristics in here for whether this person is a high performer in terms of their talent, whether there's a compensation issue, and whether we might have a retention issue, being able to hold on to the person. And then finally, a photo file. So I've got all of those that I'm putting in, and I'm just going to do a quick import. Okay, we'll just come back to our drawing here, and we start with importing the data here. And if you'll notice, we could take data from any source where Microsoft applications can take data. That could be from the SharePoint Foundation list, it could be from Access, or any database where there's an ODBC driver. In this case, I'll take Excel, because that's a pretty common way to get the data. And I'm going to browse to find the information. Okay, and now that I've got that, it's showing up that it has a named range. It includes all of my data. I could filter based on which columns I wanted to import. I could go ahead and select those or deselect them. And I could decide on if there's particular rows I did or did not want to include. But I'm just going to proceed and import the whole file. It only has about 70-some records. And as stated before, our key this time is going to be employee number. Okay, we're going to use employee number and then the manager's ID number. And then we go next, and we're finished here. The next step, okay, so first of all, you can see the data has been brought in because we see it in the external data window. Okay, right down here, that's everything. And my next step is to configure the data fields, which the way I identify employees is going to be based on the employee number. And then the reports to is going to be the manager ID number. And our display for name will be the employee's name. Okay, so on the left, these are required mappings, and on the right, I'm going to go ahead and show other optional fields, such as a title, and let's just say a telephone number. And then we have the dotted line reporting. And I had 3 fields in the data for that, so I'm going to use that. Dotted line managers 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Now my photo, we do have a photo file in here, and I'm going to browse to find the folder where all of those photo images are kept. They're kept in a folder named Headshots. Okay. And the inbox product will not allow you to do this. You'll have to put your photos in the same folder that your Excel file is in or your database is in. And then again, the naming convention is very, very picky. Position type, this is where we can feed that value that will determine the shape style, and then assistant. Okay, so if somebody is an assistant, we're going to see the value of yes occur in that field. So this was it. This was really all I had to do to set this up. And now where the fun, choose the start and depth. And when I click on this, I get a dialog. And if I click on any of the boxes, you can see that I have the ability now to determine the starting point and the number of levels deep I want to go as I create this chart. So each person, we can take a look and see their identification. There's a lot of rich data here that is available for us to see. We see the direct reports and the number of subordinates, the level they're at, and the reports to information. All these are things that are going to help us decide if we want to select this person to do a detail of their organization. So at the top, I'm going to pick Joseph Goldberg, and I'm going to drill just 2 levels down. And when I do this, we're going to see the detail appear. If you'll look in the chart data window, this external data, you see these little chain links appear. That's because these shapes have been joined to this document now. And I'll zoom into this in just a moment. So for each one of these boxes, I can go ahead and change the size. Now, you know the wonderful thing about Visio is that you can move boxes wherever you please. That's going to be a positive thing, and also it can be a little bit of trouble for you because these lines can get crossed up. But our tools are going to help you with that. Now, for each person, we've got this patented feature that's called the Smart Clone tool. So I was telling you before that all the Visio objects have to have the same format. That's with the inbox product. With the add-in, this shape is configurable. So we can decide, I don't want to show the telephone number. I want to show a picture on the left. I want to also take the number of direct reports, put that into the shape, as well as the number of subordinates. Okay, so I'm putting all of those in, and then I'll just do a little bit of centering. I'll put a label on each one of these, make the title a little larger, make the employee's name bold, and now I can apply it to the entire document, to this page, to selected shapes, or just to this shape. I'll apply it to just this shape for the moment. Okay, so there we've got a picture of the individual, and I'm going to make his box a little bit bigger. Now, coincidental with the Smart Clone tool, there's what is called a Smart Brush. And the Smart Brush enables me to do 2 things. I can copy data fields, okay, what's going to show and what's not going to show, or I could just copy sizes. Or by just clicking on this brush right here, I can do both. So I can click on that, and then each one of these boxes that I click on is going to become the same size, okay? Or I could just lasso and get a group of them going, okay? I'm going to put away this shape window for a moment here. Okay, so now what you see here is that, you know, Susan was identified as an assistant, and sure enough, showed up as hanging to the side. Each one of these people, we've got somebody like Claire here who's got 3 direct reports and 10 subordinates. And if I click over here on her little smart box, I can say, let's expand her people onto this page. That's one possibility. Okay? And as soon as I do that, we get her group. And I've got choices as to how I arrange those and have them hanging. I could do you know, vertical hanging right, for example. Okay. Now let's just fix that a second. And then also any one of these people, if I wanted to, we could have them show up on separate pages. Let's go back to Claire a second, and we're going to collapse this. As soon as I do, those people are not showing. Or I could go ahead and click on the Smart tag here and say, put these people on a new page. As soon as I do, if you'll look at the bottom here, there's a new tab for Claire's group. Okay. I'll click on Center Drawing, and we'll go in and look at this. And here, just by hyperlinking, these 2 are connected now, so I can go back and forth between Claire. and I can take a look at Patricia's group here. I can take both of these if I want to and say, you know what, why don't you expand both of these on this same page? So now you can see the expand capability that we have here. Now we went off the page, so I'll just click on Center Drawing. Again, this is not something that you would be able to do in the box product. We're making this real easy for you. And then the layout, let's just pick a 2-column vertical. Okay. Now the other thing, if you'll notice, we've got somebody here who's a consultant type, so their box style looks different. You see Rick here. All right. All right. So I'm just going to save this. Just be a moment. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've saved this file. So let's take a look at some other things that could happen. See, do I have everybody expanded here? All right. Now we can have individuals here, perhaps they're showing their direct reports and subordinates, and they don't have anybody. So why don't we change that? Let's just get rid of those fields. There's no reason for us to show those if they're at a value of 0. Okay, and then I'll just apply it to this shape. Okay, so now what I could do is I could propagate that same style to other boxes. For example, to Marlene here. I could do the same thing for these others. There's also going to be a conditional field that's going to be available to do this based on the value that's obtained in each one of these. So that's just a very quick example of how this will work. And then the other thing I'll take you to is what it's like when we finally, we go ahead and add some people. Okay, so I'm going to add Albert Lee and Frederick Hines. Okay, so when we add 2 individuals, and I'll just take the chart here, and I'm just going to point. I'm going to point at a new data set. So for that, I want to be able to see. Excuse me a second. I want to be able to see my external data window. And so I could just do a refresh from that, but since I have a separate file, I'm just going to configure the refresh, and I'm going to change my data source. Okay. So what file do I want? I'm going to take my step 2 file. I've got a file step 1, step 2, step 3. Okay. So you're going to take a new data source. That could be a problem if they don't match in format, but they do, so I know we're okay. Okay. So we're just going to go ahead and accept that change. All right, so there's 2 new people that we're expecting to find. Let's go back to the top here for a second. Okay. All right, and pertinent to our last item here, Albert is going to report to Ashley, and Frederick is going to report to Joseph. So I'm going to do something here, which is go back to the org chart, and we're going to do a refresh of all pages. So you can see Frederick has shown up now in the data, and this is something Visio in the box will not do. So this was a big deal. Furthermore, you get a refresh report, and the refresh report tells you exactly what's happened. Okay, so on Joseph's page, there's 1 person that was added, which is Frederick. Okay, and then we've got someone else who was added too. We're gonna see that in just a moment. This is Ashley Larson has got somebody new as well here, so we're going to do an expand of his people as well. Okay, and here's Albert Lee, who was added also. Now, if you're thinking these pictures look kind of small, I mean these can be changed. I mean, I'll just give you an example. So if I look at my shape data for that, we could change that person's picture size. Let's just say to a 0.4. Okay, so the picture could be large. Oh, let's make it a 0.5. Okay, and now if I wanted to, I could use a smart brush and pick everybody at that level and do the same thing to them. Okay, so that's just an example. Again, that smart brush is a very powerful and convenient tool. One other thing I can do is if we're taking care of deletes and things like that, then that'll work as well. So if you're doing organizational planning, let's just say this is the step 3 file, for example, here. Okay, and this is a case where I've introduced somebody named Marty Da Vinci. Marty's going to replace a guy named Suki White. Let's see if we can find Suki in our diagram here. I know he's in here. This is how we can find somebody throughout the entire document. Okay, all pages. Okay, I haven't expanded him. That's my problem. So let's just go ahead to the top here. And we are. Oh, he belongs to Laura Jennings. That's my issue here. We could take both of these guys here and let's just expand them on new pages. Okay, we're getting closer. And there's Suki. Suki's got 3 people reporting to him. Let's put them on this page. As you can see that, we've got some individuals here. We've got Suki, we're going to replace him. He's going to leave the company. And we're going to put Mr. Da Vinci in his position. That's what our third file is going to do for us. And then after I do that, we'll move on to some other things. So there he is. Marty is now going to be reporting to Laura. And we've got the other people reporting to him. So we'll point now to that third file. Just configure our refresh. We'll change our data source to the step 3 file. Imagine just as you're kind of going through your planning process, as you're making changes to the data, wouldn't it be great that all you had to do was just change the data source, and then you could just go ahead and update this. So I'm expecting Suki to leave. I'm expecting Marty to take his place. And let's also show Linda's people as well. She's got Catan working for her. I believe Andrew's going to move over and report to her as part of that data. So let's do a data refresh of all pages, and let's watch what happens here. Okay, so you can see here's Marty Da Vinci. He took Suki's place. And we can see Andrew Dixon is now reporting to Linda. And if we look at take a peek at our refresh report, okay, we can see what happened here. Okay, Suki White was deleted. Marty Da Vinci was added. Okay, we've got a great audit trail here. Okay, and it tells us also who was moved. So those are some of the examples. Others that would be really great to cover quickly here would be the idea of data graphics. So if we create data graphics, this would be a way that we could give a performance indicator. Let's just take a field such as their current performance level. And we could select an icon set. And we'll make this the top. This will be I'll make it far left. And sure, we'll put it at the top. Okay. And so each one of these, since we've got a field called current performance, then we could go ahead and add a value, okay, recognize a value, and show each one of these indicators based on that. Okay. So now I can go ahead and select this, and I really have to come and apply it. Let's just scroll here for a moment. If I select all of these, and then we go to our data graphics and apply them, then each one of these goes ahead and gets a new indicator. Now, there's multiple indicators that we could do, but this is just a quick example of how data graphics can be used to give you just a great snapshot picture. This can also be saved to a PDF. Okay, if we did a file, if we did a save as, and let's just put it in here for a second. And we're going to pick a PDF. And this will be an interactive PDF that we create. Okay, as it generates the PDF. Okay, so here we are, and if you'll notice, any one of these people that I click on is going to take me right to the group that I'm interested in. Okay, it's Laura Jennings here, and we can see those people. So this is all interactive, which is really absolutely wonderful. If you wanted to create this as a web page, you can do that too. Save it as a web page, and then we would just click on Publish. Okay, and we're just going to click all of these. Port inventory. Let's go. And I think I've got to open this up in IE. Visio requires that. That's an inbox requirement for Visio. Let me change this a second. So I hope this is giving you some ideas to alternatives that you have. Here, let's just put this in. All right, so allow block content. All right, so now what you can see is that, here, let's just search pages advanced. Okay, so we've got an ability now to pick any one of these. I can just do a control click. All right, and it's going to, we'll be able to see the details here as well. Here, 1 second. Okay, so any one of these people that I click on, and of course I can scroll into this, any one of them I click on, any of the data that I decided to publish is available for each one of these people. Okay? So that can be pushed out to the intranet, and now you've got an organization chart that easily communicates everything that you wanted. There are reports also that are available. Okay, so you could go through the report generator here. Okay, so if we have something as for example, as a flight risk report. Okay, so I'll just create this in Excel for the moment. And so I'm looking for people here who are flagged specifically with a flight risk or a retention issue. Okay, so this report was just very easy to create. It pushed it out. It showed me the list of people. Okay, so that is a quick example of how OrgChart for Visio is operating, giving you the ability to create these objects very quickly and to have a continuous data refresh. Again, you can always look at these charts and you can know that this chart can be certified as being a perfect representation of your external data. I want to move to another document here in Visio for a second, and that is going to be the floor plan. Okay, so I'm taking the same information here, and I don't know if you've seen something like this before, but we have taken all the data. Okay, see all the data below. It's the same organizational data, and I'm going to put that away for a second. But this, here's 1 second. This particular diagram, we took an AutoCAD drawing and imported it into Visio. So after taking that, then shapes were matched and people were matched to each one of the offices. Now, in the upper right-hand corner, we can see the legend here. Let's just zoom in on that. So we have for finance, marketing, ops, R&D, sales, we've got these different colors that are appearing. So this is not, this is, again, it's making it very easy for you to take a look at the map fields in the organization. And here's Joseph Goldberg. Okay, he's the top person in the organization, and here's his office. Okay, he's got the corner office, and you can see other information such as the square footage, what his number is, his employee number. And if we look like that, you can see any of these people. And the other thing you've got the ability to do is you've got the ability to do a change of individuals in the organization and reassign them to different offices. So if you can imagine this, you could, if you're trying to do some kind of space planning where you're trying to keep the entire sales organization together, for example, then this is a quick map telling you that you are on target for that or that you're not. And if you want to move people, all you got to do is change their office number, do a refresh, and it's going to push people into the correct office. So a map like this is also very important if you think about anybody who might have a disability or might require assistance getting out of the building. It could be one of those things that make it very easy for you to keep it current and to know, for example, where somebody needs some help, or maybe just to know where the good printer is. Go out the hallway and go 2 doors to your left. That's the bad printer. If you go 10 doors to your right, that's the good printer. And those might be maps that actually people want to hide and not share with others. But again, it's one of those examples of taking HR data and then you can map it to a floor plan. So this is a combination of a product that we have and it's a service. We help you get these maps set up so that they can hook up to your HR data. And then all you really have to do once this is built is you just maintain your HR data, and it can populate these floor plans very easily. So you can ask me about that if you wish to, but I'm going to move on to something else, which is I want to move on to something which has to do with talent mapping. Okay, here we are. All right, I wanted to show you the idea of a talent map. This is actually something that we're in the process of releasing right now. And the idea is that if you are looking to do a categorization of your people according to a sorting, according to levels of management, and you want to put them into functional groupings, in my case here we're looking at engineering, analysis, and technical. So this is going to be a real convenient way for you to sort through this. And then furthermore, there's going to be a key or a legend that's down below. We can take a look at this right now. So you've got the ability to specify people that are eligible for retirement. They are flight risk, full-time vacant. And then there's a whole series of identifiers that can be added or shown just by data values, whether these people are top talent, whether they're special customer-facing people. It gives you a quick roadmap then to be able to have a visual that identifies your talent inventory for a particular group. Now, this diagram can be done in any width and any height, but the basic idea that I wanted you to see is that this is a mapping technique that our tools will support. And so, again, this is another thing that is a combination of a service and a product that we offer. So, so we have covered just a few things right now. We covered the OrgChart for Visio. We covered the floor plan, and we covered the data mapping OrgChart.
So in summary, I'd like to just recover the fact that we were talking about organization charts using Visio 2013. Then the talent mapping or skills mapping was available to us. Finally, space planning, the ability to take maps and put your HR data against all of the office space. And then custom reporting. So whatever HR data you've got, there's different strategies for being able to visualize it, for your HR needs. OfficeWorks software not only creates software solutions for visualizing and managing your workforce, but we also have services. That is, we have consultants that are versed in every area of human resource management that are available. So just contact us and we can help you. Let us know how we can help you. You can reach us at OfficeWorks Software at 415-462-1313 or 800-477-1408. We're also available on the web at this address. Thank you very much for joining us.